On 9th October 2025, the National Council of States unanimously approved the nomination of Professor Joash Amupitan, son, as the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The appointment follows the completion of the 10-year tenure of his predecessor, Professor Mahmood Yakubu. For Nigerians long yearning for free, fair, and credible elections, this change comes with both hope and heavy expectations. In this scope of my space here, I will try to trace his emergence, set out what Nigerians expect of the new INEC chairman, and examine the key tasks that lie ahead of him. But first of all, who is this Amopitan and how did he get here? Professor Amopitan hails from Ayutoro, Bede in Ujumu local government area of Kogi State. That's the north-central part of this country. He's a legal scholar. He obtained his LLB in 1987, LLM 1983, and PhD in law in 2007, all from the University of Jos. He was called to the Nigerian bar in 1988, and he became a senior advocate of Nigeria as a son in September 2014. He has held academic leadership roles such as the Dean of Faculty of Law, Head of Department, Public Law, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration at the University of Jos, and Pro-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Council of Joseph Ayo Babalola University. His areas of expertise include company law, law of evidence, corporate governance, and privatization law. Mr. President, that is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, graciously presented his name to the Council of State to fill the vacant INEC chair position following Yakubu's exit. And the council gave a unanimous support, commending his integrity and political credentials as presented by the president. Let us watch the Council of State deliberations in this matter. I'll be right back.
1 hour closed-door meeting, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma says Council approved the nomination of a senior advocate of Nigeria, Professor Joash Amupitan, as new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission.
It is the duty of Mr. President, in consultation with National Council of State. So in keeping with that statutory provisions, Mr. President today recommended to Council of State Professor Joash Amupitan. Joash is a professor of law, as a matter of fact, also a professor of evidence. He's a highly respected scholar with impeccable credentials. And on the presentation of his name, Council unanimously approved and consented to the recommendation for his appointment.
He is the first person from Kogi State to be nominated to this role. The next step for him now is for his name to be forwarded to the Senate for screening and confirmation in line with the constitutional requirements. And the significance of his selection is that his emergence carries symbolic elements as regional representation of the north-central part of the country, academic and legal credentials, and a perception of being outside the immediate partisan political fray. A number of civil society groups welcomed the appointment as a potential step toward restoring public confidence in the electoral process within our jurisdiction. Now, let me attempt to read the minds of Nigerians. That is what Nigerians hope for this new INEC chairman. For many Nigerians, the appointment of a new INEC chairman is not simply a personnel change, but a moment of opportunity to reset and rebuild trust in the electoral process. The main expectations, in my opinion, include, but not limited to, the following. 1. Credibility and impartiality. Call to question. There is a deep desire for an electoral management body that is not only seen, but is independent, transparent, and above partisan influence. Amupitan's description as apolitical, as by the president, and endorsement by the council fit into this expectation. It's now left for him to prove to that. Improved logistics and technology. The 2023 general elections under the previous leadership introduced technology such as the bimodal voter accreditation system, that is BVAS, and the IREF result viewing portal. But observers and civil society recorded significant challenges in logistics, result transmission delays, and accountability as far as those innovations were introduced. Nigerians now expect the new leadership to build on those reforms and fix their shortfalls. Transparency and accountability. Beyond casting ballot, citizens expect handover of credible results, swift and transparent resolution of complaints, and an effective regulation of campaign finance and electoral offenses. The new chairman is expected to underscore accountability and enforcement of all these laws, and then inclusivity or inclusiveness of every other person, and the voter confidence, voter registration, ease of access to polling, protection of rights, including that of women, youth, persons with disabilities, and a visible sense of fairness will be part of the public hope on this new chairman. When voters believe the contest is fair, the turnout and participation will improve, and that will ultimately strengthen democracy in our country. And then long-term institutional reforms. This is not just about the next poll. Nigerians expect structural reforms in INEC that will guarantee stronger independence, clear funding, improved staffing, data systems, and a culture of professionalism within the INEC space. The time is ripe for the articulation of the task ahead of the new chairman, challenges and priorities. There are certain things that he needs to prioritize. Taking the helm of INEC at a time of high democratic stakes, the new INEC chairman faces multiple interlinked tasks. Let me examine these tasks one after the other. 1. Consolidating and deepening electoral technologies. While the pro leadership made strides with BVAS and IREF, many observers say that the technology is only as good as the logistics. The training and integrity with which it is deployed is at stake. And so he needs to take it up from there. The new chairman must ensure that devices are properly deployed, staff are trained, and network so connectivity issues are addressed in order to make a way forward. That result transmission systems function reliably, and that any human backup procedures are fully robust to have a hitch-free election. That audits and contingencies for malfunctions and are clear and transparent. They must be seen to just be that. Elections in Nigeria are large scale and complex, and the key areas in this contest are timely delivery of materials to remote polling units, adequate staffing and security arrangements, planning for off-cycle elections, reruns, and by-elections, but not only the general polls. Every other elections has to be encompassed, ensuring that voter registration is accurate by eliminating duplicates, dead voters, and erroneous entries where previous reports indicated such issues. Often, the limiting factor is that only It's not only how well an election is run, but whether the public believes it was fair. Therefore, Professor Joash must ensure that INEC, the actions are seen as non-partisan, from candidate screening to result collation. Engage in outreach, that is, civil society, media, observers, and the public must be informed and able to critique and monitor the process. Make decisions on petitions and complaints that are timely, transparent, and credible. Some of the work is technical and legal as well. Good enough, the INEC chairman is a legal person. The INEC chairman should revisit election laws, campaign financing, digital media regulation, and sanctions for offenses. The INEC chairman should work towards strengthening INEC's independence as budget autonomy, staffing, professionalism, and avoid undue political interference. There should be improvement in data security and integrity by protecting voter data, result transmission data, and building redundancy against tampering of any data within their reach. With his appointment, Amupitan will have to start laying groundwork for the next major national elections. There's no time to spare. The preparation that will include voter education campaigns, working with political parties, the media, civil society, and to build a consensus on election rules. Anticipating potential flashpoints is part of it. Security, logistics, first-time voters, diaspora voting, and that is if there will be any. Ensuring that the collation and declaration process is credible and swift. Despite the hopes, several risk factors remain. We can't pretend that all arrangements and preparations will be seamless. And what are those factors? We need to, scale them. Factors like political pressure. INEC has often been pulled in multiple directions by the executive, political parties, and state actors. The new chairman's ability to resist undue pressure will be tested. Resources and funding is part of one of the other areas. Even the best technologies and plans fail without adequate funding. And optional support, operational support is still part of the problem. Security challenges in Nigeria, elections often face violence, intimidation, vote buying, and disruptions, all complicating the mission for credible polls. He has to take this into consideration. What about our perception? Even if INEC improves technically, public perception takes time to shift. Past disappointment may enshrine deep skepticism. For example, one commentator on Reddit captured wider frustration, saying, that is in quote, of course, we have noticed. Nigerians have noticed how often our rights are trampled upon. That is unquote. It means that the mindset, have the mindset already about the outcome. Plans are only good as execution. Without strong follow through, hopes can be dashed. So there must be a kind of follow through in every step. I will end up by saying Professor Joash Amupitan's appointment as INEC chairman present a window of opportunity for Nigeria's democracy. His academic pedigree, legal expertise, and known political image give him a credible starting point. But the real test lies ahead. If he can lead INEC to deliver elections that are perceptibly and materially free and fair and credible, then can strengthen institution and rebuild trust. If we can ensure that logistics, law, technology, and transparency align, then this could mark a turning point. For Nigerians, the bar is high. The quest for elections that genuinely reflect the will of the people is long standing. And while one individual cannot guarantee the outcome, the leadership of the Electoral Commission matters enormously. Professor Joash inherits both the hopes and the responsibilities. The path forward will require courage, independence, and determination. Please drop your comments below and subscribe for more. Thank you.